Hello, hello, hello everyone. I hope you are all doing amazing today. I'm Zoe Paulson and this is BuffSports Live, the only show that you can watch to prove that you are a hardcore Buffs fan. So let's get right into the stories that we have for you today. First off, the Buffs soccer team has been playing lights out the past 2 weeks, recording shutouts against both Oregon and Arizona State. With their regular season finale today at 3 p.m., the team is looking for a win to help them secure a spot in the 48-team NCAA tournament. It's the reason why head coach Danny Sanchez is not underestimating this Utah team. Let's take a listen into what he said earlier this week.
Utah had a great weekend last week, beat Arizona and Arizona State, been playing great. We played them about a month ago in a non-conference game, won 1-0, but a game that could have gone either way. Like we talked about, our players got here 4th of July, basically. To get to April 16th and still have something to really play for is special, and I want to commend them for that, but we don't want to be satisfied. So we know that we control our destiny. We know we have an opportunity to make a statement to the NCAA selection committee. As we all know, it's a shrunken down bracket this year, so it's more difficult to get in, so there's not a lot of wiggle room. But we play a very good team at home and in front of our fans, and like you said, on senior day. So we're going to put our best foot forward and hopefully get a result on Friday.
Some big news from the CU ski team. Magnus Bowie secured the National Men's Nordic Skier of the Year after placing first in 10 of 12 races in the regular season. He won many awards to go with it and proved that he is one of the greatest skiers in CU history. Congrats to him on a great end to an incredible season. It's always good to be a Buff, especially when we get to destroy the CSU Rams in football. Fans were very sad to hear that there were only 2 years left for the annual game, 2023 and in 2024. But this week we got amazing news. The series will go on for 6 more games after that. The games will alternate between Folsom Field and Fort Collins' Canvas Stadium. Now I know what you're thinking. Those games seem very far in the future. We'll be long graduated by then. But at least we will be able to cheer the Buffaloes to 6 more victories when we're forever Buffs. This exciting announcement got us thinking about all the fun wins that the Buffs have had at the Rocky Mountain Showdown. It got us thinking about this week's trivia question. So put away your phones, no cheating on this one. We're asking you, what is the Buffs' all-time record against rival Colorado State Rams? Stick around, Buffs fans. Later in the show, we'll have the trivia answer for you, and I know that you're curious about it. We also have exclusive interviews with our women's basketball team, and you don't want to miss that.
This deserves a second look. Michael taking off, the patented tongue comes out. Just in front of that line. Look at this, the double clutch, the reach out.
Pass on left wing, looks behind him, wide open, right wing, up top, open for 3, fires.
That's really good basketball, Mark. Unselfish, smart basketball.
Open for 3, fires, nothing but nylon from downtown. Good ball move by Colorado.
If you are a golf fan, you definitely watched the Masters. But what you may not have known was that the Southern Colorado Masters, a collegiate contest, was going on at the same time. Christopher Max, a CU sophomore, secured his first college win. After struggling early in the season, coaches have noticed him polish up his game just in time for this impressive win. Congrats to him. The track and field team dominated the field last weekend at the Colorado Invitational. Overall, the Buffs won 5 events, including Sage Herta, who won her 400-meter race despite starting without blocks. Even more impressive was the 7 different athletes reaching top 10 in the school record books for their events. Overall, a great day to be a Buff. Now, everyone knows that COVID has had a massive effect on basically every aspect of our lives. That's no different if you are a CU football player. Gus Oswald has the story for us on Buff Banter.
Hi everyone, it's Gus Oswald, and I'm back with another edition of Buff Banter, Ashad Clayton was a 4-star running back recruit in the 2020 class from Louisiana. It was difficult for him dealing with COVID delaying the football season and him having to adjust from being the top guy on the depth chart in high school. He said, and I quote, "The transition from being the top guy to basically starting from square one, I kind of got down a little, but I just stayed the course and worked my tail off, learned the playbook, and just developed." But he relied on running backs coach Darian Hagan to get him through the year. "Hagan's like a father figure I never had," Clayton said. "He always says, we grew up a lot alike, we've developed a bond. Every time he talks, I take it in his knowledge." Head coach Carl Durrell said he's having a very good spring session and has grown quite a bit. Hopefully with a year that's more normal, Clayton can have a very successful season next year as part of a very good backfield with junior Jarek Broussard. Back to you, Zoe.
Thanks, Gus. Coming up soon, we have some badass women's basketball players to hear from, so don't go away.
Please record in Mike and Q Talent in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mic up on 2. All right, take 1. And fade camera 2. Take 3. Ready, red. Roll red. Take cam 1. Take red. Take it. Come on, roll red. Let's go. All right.
Hey, what are you doing?
I'm just calling the show.
There's no show.
A few weeks ago, the world of women's sports was startled by the apparent discrimination of the NCAA. The drastic differences in the women's versus the men's March Madness basketball tournaments were too distinct to ignore. I talked with 5 of our CU basketball players about their thoughts on the NCAA, the struggles of being a female player, and how we can fix this issue.
So that was kind of like my first reactions, like really?
Yeah, I mean, I think overall it was just a disappointment was my first initial reaction.
I think my initial thoughts is, as an athlete, I was disheartened by it.
Well, honestly, it's going to sound funny, but I wasn't that surprised.
Frustrated, of course, but I was also happy that they were able to actually, that you could see it so obviously, that there was this comparison. So my first thought was okay, good, we can use this for something.
Someone who's part of the women's basketball program here, we just like being in the event center and just seeing the men, we share the same equipment, we share the same bars, dumbbells, plates, but yet again, the NCAA showed a completely different story that we don't work out is what they portrayed.
And the highest weight was 50 pounds. We can't lift more than that. So now not only are we not able to have all the things that the guys have, but we're also limited to how much we can lift. So I thought that was interesting too. How are we only able to lift 50 pounds? Are we that weak?
I think that it's just really disappointing to show that there are these still inequalities for women and men when, we're in the 21st century. You wouldn't think that was really something that was still prevalent. But
even the testing was different. So the guys were getting PCR testing and the girls got antigen. So I'm that just shocked me because I'm that's your safety.
You could see the men's floor and all their stuff has March Madness, and then the women's tournament is the women's tournament, and then March Madness apparently not about women's sports at all, even though that's what we thought.
There's an app for the NCAA men's March Madness, so why isn't there an app for the women's tournament? Or there's a Twitter account that's called March Madness, but it's only about men's basketball.
It's not okay that we keep letting them get away with it. Doesn't know how it feels to always be devalued. Always, there's kind of always implicit in the way we're treated that, oh, it's not good enough or it's not as good as the men's. I think what's really important is that we start to not always labeling women's sport as a women's sport.
For me, when I saw the comments, it's what hurt the most, because a lot of people are talking down upon women's basketball and they're bringing in the money aspect when it's not about that, because we do work just as hard as men do. It's just not seen.
The women's profits, it went up this year. And so it's the game's evolving and everything like that. So I feel it should be equal.
And I just tell female athletes just to keep working and just prove everyone wrong. Prove them wrong, because our day will come.
Just being more consistent, because like I said, we can talk about all this stuff now, and then a month later we'll forget about it and something else happens. This same stuff that has been happening over and over. So I would say just being consistent with it and making sure that we take it serious and actually try to change it.
So I think just we got to keep fighting for it. And we know that we are just as important as the men's teams and just as important as the NCAA men's basketball program.
We just need to continue to talk about it and make change.
And so there is this whole inequality aspect of it, of people aren't really respecting women's basketball, but I think it comes down to the institution in itself of the NCAA. Like, how can you expect a normal person who doesn't know a whole lot about basketball to respect a women's sport if the NCAA doesn't even seem to respect us?
Thank you to the players who helped with that video, and good luck to all the female athletes in the NCAA. Your voices are heard by us. Coming up next, our amazing technical director, Aiden Young-Segutis, makes his first ever on-camera appearance. Trust me, you don't want to miss it.
They were nervous and inexperienced, as new faces looking to achieve greatness. As the years went on, they grew confident in their abilities.
Maybe. Yes, sir!
Now they look to guide others in the same pursuit.
There it is! Can you believe it?
All are welcome to be featured on the biggest stage.
Is it his time?
We invite you to discover what you're capable of at BuffSports Live.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another sizzling installment of Rapid Fire, the hottest show this side of the sun. My name is Aiden Young-Segutis, and without further ado, let's jump right into it. Starting with women's tennis facing up against Utah Friday afternoon at 3 p.m. This game will mark the conclusion of the 2020-2021 regular season, so make sure you tune in and support our Buffs. Next up, the Buffs have another match against Utah as the women's soccer team looks to close out their regular season Friday at 1:30 p.m. And finally, track and field will be taking on the Colorado School of Mines in an all-day affair on Sunday after the meet was moved due to weather. There will be no spectators of any kind allowed, so be sure to show your support from home. That's all the sports news for this week, but for any and all games in the future, you'll be sure to find out about them here on Rapid Fire. Back over to you, Zoe.
All right, everyone. I know you've been wondering about that trivia question for a while now. Fine, I'll tell you. Earlier we asked you, what is the Buffs' all-time record against rival CSU Rams? The answer? 67 wins, 22 losses, and 2 ties. You heard that correctly, 67 wins in 91 meetings. CU dominates CSU in this heated rivalry, including a current 5-game winning streak. Here's to 6 more victories over the coming years. Oh, wow, is it that time already? Time just goes by when you're talking about CU sports. We will see you all here for the final time this semester, next week, as we say goodbye to 2 of our beloved seniors. Thank you all, and as always, Go Buffs!